Hello everyone and welcome to our special series about the 2025 Annual Town Meeting. This series is designed to help inform residents about issues that are important to the town. Each segment is about a specific article or group of articles, so make sure you check in to find the issue that's important to you or to learn about all of the issues our town is facing. This next segment of our series on the 2026 Annual Town Meeting is about the FY26 operating budget. The operating budget is what people generally call the town budget. In this segment, we will talk about how the budget is created, what are the highlights of the budget and things people should know, and how you can find more information about this year's budget process.
All right, we're going to be talking about this year's FY26 operating budget, or what people commonly call the town's budget. Before I get into some of the overall summaries, I'd like to introduce our experts that are joining me. So would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is James Cataccio. I'm chair of the Finance Committee.
I'm Kelly Byer, the town accountant.
I can tell you the three of us talk a lot about budgeting. And this year's budget, as is important to note, is a 4.87% increase over last year's budget with a projected tax impact of 3.46%. And it's important to note that that projected tax impact is a conservative estimate, but it helps shape how town officials look at the overall budget. This year's numbers come from several factors. James, you want to take us through some of the biggest drivers in this year's budget?
Sure. So the majority of the budget is largely a level service budget, but there were a number of outside factors that we have little control over that really did drive the budget to a slightly higher level than we typically have at the town. We had an increased retirement assessment on the town level. Our health insurance rate went up substantially, and the school ran into a few different budget drivers that they weren't able to control either, specifically the busing contract as well as some out-of-district additional costs.
And when you add that into how the town's able to produce revenue, because state aid is relatively flat for the schools and for the town, and because our local receipts, which is the money that people pay for things like dog licenses and excise taxes, are relatively flat, the only lever we have for revenue is taxes. So controlling that cost is important.
Correct. Agreed.
So Kelly, you and I work pretty hard after we get directions from the select board and the finance committee to assemble the budget. So walk me through how we get that initial request from departments in order to assemble the first draft.
Sure. So we start out with an initial request to departments to compile their first round of budget requests. That information comes into Ryan and I from each department for various line items within their budgets. We enter all that information into Munis for the first draft presentation budget. That adds in any wages for every employee in town, and those first drafts then go to the finance committee for first review.
Yeah, we work pretty closely with the departments. So Kelly works with the departments in order for them to understand their expenses, how they think they're going to be spending in the coming year, and what their salary changes will be based on some goals that we set. And then I work with the departments to make sure that their requests are in line with the expectations of the finance committee and the select board, and then we turn it over to you for the public work. So can you describe how the FinCom goes through the process for people that might not know?
Sure. So we go through meeting with each department as well, vetting any requests that they might have, and then making sure that the budget fits in line with, I would say, the goals of the town. Once we finally, having worked closely with the two of you, come to a budget that we recommend to the select board, we then hold our public hearing, which will be May 8th this year, which is a time that we present the budget to the town, and the town is able to provide feedback ahead of town meeting.
And what are some of the difficult parts about going through the budget process? I know you hold marathon meetings in January with every department and hear all of the requests. What are some of the difficult parts of the process, or the parts that you have to work through as a finance committee to make a final product?
Yeah, great question. So one of the challenges is each department wants to make sure that they're able to provide the best services possible for the town, and that's completely understandable. What we need to do is balance the overall town's needs with each individual town's requests. So balancing that along with outside drivers that we can't control are certainly challenges that we run into. Always trying to look years out as opposed to one singular year is one thing that the Finance Committee tries to work on heavily.
Okay. And then you end up meeting with the select board to try and come up with a town meeting budget. Describe how that process goes. Is that easy? Is that hard?
Great question. That's never easy. The select board, I think, often will look to the Finance Committee for guidance, and I think the Finance Committee often looks to the select board to guidance. But ultimately, we all land on a guidance number that I think we feel comfortable. We'll keep level service. We'll allow the departments to continue to operate the way that they do, and then shape the budget from there.
Kelly, how much time does the staff spend with you and with others compiling the budget and making sure the numbers are accurate and reflective of the services that we provide?
It's a pretty significant amount of time. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of coordinating and trends, history to get down to the final numbers. So I can't put a number to it. It's a lot of hours.
I know you like budgeting, but are you pretty excited when budget season's over?
Yes. There's a joy to get it started and a pure joy to get it over with and know that we're set for the next year.
All right. So besides this video and this podcast, residents can expect the public hearing as you talked about, and
Yes.
then you're going to give a presentation at town meeting, right? That's the consolidated budget. What information will voters get there?
Great question. Yeah. So we give a summary at town meeting. It typically includes historic, a summary of the budget, as well as historic budget requests, increases, decreases, some information about the way that the school works, the regional school especially because of the enrollment shifts and how assessments are done, and really tries to educate the citizens as to why the budget request is what it is for this year.
Excellent. We'll have a few documents about the budget available on the town meeting website, to include a budget book that compiles all of the data discussed by the FinCom and the select board, and both of our school budgets, the regional school and the local school. Their budgets will be available for people to review. And then we look forward to working with you at the public hearing and at town meeting to answer any questions about what is one of the most important documents we create, which is the town budget.